Right now, with summer winding down, the days at the pool are dwindling when the Goodman Pool plans to end the summer of fun. Plus, a woman is in the hospital after being attacked by several dogs, what authorities are saying. And Black on State Street is back in downtown Madison, how this event helps share art and culture. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A woman is injured after being attacked by 4 dogs in Watertown on Saturday. The Watertown Police Department says the attack happened while the woman was out on a walk near Milford Street and Cobblestone Way just before 6 a.m. Upon arrival, officers located the woman with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. As officers attempted to help her, the dogs charged toward them, and an officer fired, striking one of the dogs, which later died. The 3 remaining dogs were seized as part of the investigation. The victim was taken to a local hospital. The investigation is ongoing. A cooler end to the month. Let's go ahead and get a look at your first warn forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect as we head into the latter parts of the weekend?
We're looking at very comfortable conditions to continue, maybe slightly cooler tomorrow than where we were today, but almost copy and paste in terms of sky conditions. It was a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, and temperatures are beginning to slip into the low 50s around Mineral Point up there in Black River Falls. Everybody else, for the most part, in those upper 50s to low 60s. It's 61 in Monroe as well as in Waukesha, 60 in Fond du Lac, 64 Boscobel into Prairie du Chien. Let's take it into Dane County where we're at 62 in Madison, Sun Prairie, and McFarland. But on the west side, we're in those upper 50s. We're beginning to get closer to those mid 50s around Cross Plains. We're currently sitting at 58 degrees. So Sunday, as I mentioned, slightly cooler than today, but plenty of sunshine, especially the further south and west you live. We may see a little bit more cloud cover, Watoma, Fond du Lac, maybe even into Watertown as well. Winds, though, will still be out of the northwest, so it is going to be comfortable feeling, low humidity, low dew points, a very early taste of fall. And the nice conditions, while the weekend is going to end tomorrow, look to continue into the start of next week. Jalen, we'll take a look at just how cool it's going to be to start off next week and what the forecast has in store for Labor Day weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. And as the summer winds down, some area pools are getting ready to close for the season. Madison's Goodman Pool will close on Sunday, depending on the weather. Pool staff say the early closure is due to staffing availability and lifeguards returning to school. In July, the Parks Commission decided that children under 15 needed to be accompanied by an adult. This change followed a start to the season that saw 8 police calls in just 2.5 weeks. Officials are refining this rule for the next year. If you live in Beloit, there's some exciting changes coming to your transit system. Starting September 2nd, a new east-west route will replace the Gateway route, offering direct service between residential areas and schools year-round. Fares remain unchanged with new discounts for veterans and students, plus a fare capping system, which ensures cost-effective rides. The city will introduce the WISC system, allowing payments via the UMO app, WISC cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, along with debit and credit cards. UW-Madison is bracing for a pretty busy weekend, welcoming nearly 9,000 students back to residence halls. Move-in begins tomorrow and runs through Wednesday. Several streets will shift from one-way routes near residence halls beginning at 7 a.m. each day. The east side of campus, the Park Street, will be northbound only from University to Langdon. Lake Street northbound only from Dayton to Johnson, and Dayton Street westbound only from Francis to Park. The west side of campus, Observatory Drive, will be westbound only from Charter to Babcock, and Elm Drive north of Observatory will be northbound only. Some parking lots near dorms will also be reserved for unloading zones. Drivers should expect delays, of course. Metro Transit buses will also detour around the congestion. Officials encourage families, students, and visitors to consider biking, busing, or other alternatives to avoid traffic delays. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders visited Viroqua earlier today as part of a tour to boost Democratic congressional candidates ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Sanders held a town hall with Rebecca Cook, who is challenging Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden in the 3rd Congressional District. Sanders was adamant about getting the community to not just fight against something, but rather fight for something. Sanders and Cook highlighted topics including income inequality, government spending, and corporate power. A festival going on taking over Madison's downtown earlier today. Black on State Street is celebrating its second year. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to the founder about how the show promotes inclusivity.
A big part of Black on State Street is celebrating Black culture with everyone. Like dancing, classic line dances, like
Then turn with it. Now break it down.
The big cowboy-themed festival on State Street Saturday is more than a block party. It's a cultural celebration.
We're trying to turn downtown into a hub where Black creatives and entrepreneurs feel comfortable coming here. They feel comfortable knowing that they belong in this space. And we're just down here to enjoy ourselves and bring more people downtown.
Ashley Mosberry grew up in Madison, and she's the founder of Black on State. And she said that before creating this event, she didn't have anywhere to celebrate Black culture in Madison.
Everyone is welcome, but we just want people to see a new side of Madison and what we have to offer.
That new side has deep, long history connected to down south.
Folks migrated to up north, you know? So we're really doing our things to like bring the down south culture up north as we did in the Great Migration, you know? It's not gone, it's not as present as it was down south, but it's here.
So happy to see that there is something for us, Black people here in Madison.
In addition to line dancing classes, vendors, food, and music also took over State Street.
I'm very optimistic, but I didn't expect this turnout, especially for my second year. I did not expect for it to be this big. It's a great feeling to have people come through and really enjoy themselves.
When I stayed here in Madison, I didn't see anything like this. We didn't have anything curated right for us, Black people in Madison. I didn't see this at all, so I'm just so happy to see, even though I've left, that is something that is going on here.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Black on State Street wrapped up around 5 p.m. earlier today. Now, in case you missed it, WISC-TV and Television Wisconsin have completed a major upgrade to our over-the-air broadcasting system. Those watching us with antenna who are experiencing problems getting our signal will need to rescan their TV. Open your TV's menu and select Settings, then choose Channel Scan, or for some TVs it may say Auto Tune. We also have these instructions at channel3000.com/rescan. These improvements to our signal will only be noticed by viewers who watch us over the air. If you watch WISC-TV on cable, satellite, or streaming, you will not need to make any changes at all. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your first one forecast. Plus, hospital officials in Gaza report Israeli strikes have killed at least 33 Palestinians sheltering in tents. And Texas Democrats vow to fight back after congressional map changes.
Watching News 3 Now at 10.
Hospital officials in Gaza report Israeli strikes have killed at least 33 Palestinians sheltering in tents. It comes a day after the UN declared a famine in the territory. It's a claim the Israeli Prime Minister dismissed as a false narrative. Now to CBS's Imtiaz Tayyab with the latest from London.
It scenes like this the United Nations Secretary General has called a, quote, failure of humanity. As far as the eye can see, desperate Palestinians seek aid in Gaza City and surrounding areas, where a UN-backed body, which identifies hunger levels around the world, has said starvation here has reached the highest and most severe conditions. Conditions which are characterized by, quote, starvation, destitution, and death.
The Gaza famine is the world's famine. It is a famine that asks, but what did you do? A famine that will and must haunt us all.
This undated and highly edited video, just released by the Israeli government, claims to show an abundance of food across Gaza, a claim echoed by the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who posted on social media, quote, tons of food have gone into the devastated Palestinian territory. But the UN insists Israel has sharply restricted the amount of aid for Gaza, which can be seen loaded onto trucks that sit just yards away. And it's the smallest and most vulnerable who continue to pay the highest price, like Ashraf's daughter Gadir, who died on Friday morning. I went to aid agencies all over to try to get her some milk, but there was none, he says. You can see she was just 5 months old, but is only the size of a newborn baby. Born with cerebral palsy, aid agencies say sick infants like little Gadir are the first to die from hunger. Now, the last time famine was declared by the UN was in South Sudan in 2017 and in Somalia in 2011. The Gaza famine is the first time ever one has been declared outside of continental Africa. Imtiaz Ty.
The American College of OBGYNs is breaking from the current CDC guidance on COVID-19 vaccines. The medical association says it continues to recommend the use of updated COVID-19 vaccines for pregnant and lactating individuals. The OBGYN group included multiple references in its advisory emphasizing the safety and efficacy of the vaccine during pregnancy. This comes after the CDC announced in May that it would no longer recommend the COVID-19 vaccine for pregnant women and healthy children. Earlier this week, the American Academy of Pediatrics also reaffirmed their support for COVID-19 vaccines. The cost of imported furniture may soon go up even more. President Trump announced in a social media post that his administration will launch an investigation into imported furniture. He says the investigation will take 50 days. Once it's completed, he says he will also impose a tariff on imported furniture. He said the rate has yet to be determined. Trump wrote the move would bring the furniture business back to the U.S. Furniture prices have gone up in recent months due to the sweeping global tariffs he imposed earlier this year. The federal government is taking a 10% stake in Intel. President Trump announced a nearly $9 billion investment in the tech company's stock on Truth Social. He called it a win for both sides. The agreement is part of an effort to help boost semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S. According to Intel, the government will only have a passive ownership in the company, which includes not obtaining a seat on the board. Texas Democrats are vowing to fight back following the passage of GOP changes to the state's congressional map done at President Trump's request to improve Republican odds to keep control of the House of Representatives. Willie James Inman has more.
House Bill 4 is finally passed.
Texas Republicans are taking a victory lap after an early morning vote Saturday that seeks to give their party an edge during the 2026 midterms. But Democrats in Texas plan to challenge the new map, saying it dilutes the voting power of minorities.
Tell us whether or not there was any analysis by the top-notch lawyers as it relates to discriminatory effects of this particular map.
And I have confidence in that analysis is that this map complies with all applicable law.
On social media today, President Trump celebrated the vote, calling it a huge victory for our America First agenda. Governor Greg Abbott says he will swiftly sign the bill into law. The controversial new map could give Republicans in Texas a 5-seat edge in the House. But the redistricting fight now prompting other states to do the same.
This was a reaction to an assault on our democracy.
California is now pushing a plan to redraw its own map to favor Democrats.
They took an action in Texas and we're responding to it.
A new poll shows Governor Gavin Newsom with 48% of Californians backing his plan to redraw maps. 32% oppose it, with 20% undecided.
In California, voters will decide what happens next in a special election set for this fall. At the White House, Willie James Inman, CBS News.
Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaise Keller. Blaise.
It's going to be a pleasant evening out there as temperatures dip into the 50s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. While we're getting ready to say goodbye to the weekend, Sunday right around the corner, we are not getting ready to say goodbye to these nice conditions. While we may see a little bit more cloud cover across northeastern parts of our coverage area, Fond du Lac, Watoma, as we look to end the weekend, it is going to be very similar to what we saw today, maybe just slightly cooler. And then next week, we start off cool and dry, and we may squeeze out some rain as we head into Thursday. of next week. We can thank warmer air being pushed into parts of Canada for our cool down as we end the weekend going into the start of next week. A couple of low pressure systems are going to be stuck in this area, and their southerly winds are going to help move in that warmer air out of the Pacific into Canada. It's going to wrap around into the Hudson Bay following the clockwise winds around this high pressure system. But this high is going to be replaced by another one, and they're going to continue to reinforce this cooler air as we go over the next 6 to 10 days and possibly the next 2 weeks, taking that cooler air with it as it eventually pushes further south. Until then, we're going to be cooler than some parts of Canada. Yellowknife on Monday afternoon sitting in the low 70s, and we're in the mid 60s. Parts of the more central parts of Canada, Edmont, looking at 77 degrees. But I want you to pay attention to Fort McPherson, which is about 100 or so miles away from the Arctic Circle. They're going to be approaching the mid to upper 70s Tuesday afternoon, evening, and we're going to be hanging out in the low 60s. So when you really push in that warmer air, somewhere else has to be cooler than normal, because this is likely warmer than average for this area. Mother Nature is all about wanting to get that perfect balance, which is why during the summer we have those crazy sometimes storms after a very hot and humid day. Mother Nature just wants to reach that perfect equilibrium. We're not going to be seeing any crazy strong thunderstorms as we head into next week. In fact, that rain chance on Thursday might not even happen because we're going to be sitting underneath some drier air all the way up until Thursday. We have to get the atmosphere saturated to get those raindrops from the clouds to the ground. So those raindrops on Thursday are actually likely going to just saturate the atmosphere enough to get 1 or 2 drops to the ground versus all of that rain falling at once. If we do see more rain than maybe some drier conditions, we're likely looking at a ½ an inch of rain at best. But when it comes to overall rain trends, we're looking to be drier than average over the next 6 to 10 days. And again, we can thank this high pressure system for that, acting like a big weather bubble, keeping our weather here across the Midwest and especially here in Wisconsin on the quiet side. And a quick look at Tropical Storm Ferdinand. He's going to continue to make his way off into the Atlantic, but it does look like there's a cluster of clouds off just north of, say, South America. That is likely going to be impacting parts of Central America and maybe southern parts of Texas. That looks to be the better of the two. There's a look at your 10-day forecast. Other than that chance of rain on Thursday, I mean, it speaks for itself. 70s, a quiet Labor Day weekend, and a quiet Labor Day.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to be barbecuing. The Badgers kick off their season on Thursday. So it being just a little bit cooler,
it's going to be nice.
The perfect time.
It is.
All right, definitely looking forward to it. Thank you, Blaze. And coming up in sports, the Pack look to close out the preseason strong. Those highlights coming up in sports. The Pack were back at Lambeau this afternoon looking to close out the preseason strong against the Seattle Seahawks. We started halfway through the first. Malik Willis drops back and he lets it fly to first-round draft pick Matthew Golden. And he comes down with the 50-yard plus gain. Hopefully that's a sneak peek of what's to come later in the drive. Malik will find a more familiar name. Romeo Dobbs catches the slant for the touchdown. The Pack go up 7-0. And just a few plays later, Seahawks quarterback Jalen Milroe would drop back, and he gets sacked. The ball comes out loose, and the Pack would recover. The Packers forced 4 fumbles on the day, and then later in the second quarter, third and goal, Taylor Elgerma with the hard play action and finds fellow rookie Will Shepard for the 3-yard score. The Pack would go on to dominate, and they win it 20-7. It's nothing new for the Brewers to lose their star players to free agency. But when Willie Adames left for the San Francisco Giants, well, that just stung a little bit more. The shortstop was a fan favorite and a face of the organization. An organization that, simply put, wasn't willing to pay him anywhere close to what he was worth. But last night was a cause for celebration. When Willie Adames returned to AmFam Field for the first time since leaving Milwaukee, on his very first pitch that he saw, he sent it out of the park for a home run. And he would throw up a heart to his former crowd. Willie spoke about the love he still has for this fan base and for Brewer legend Bob Uecker, who the team is celebrating this weekend.
I have a lot of great memories here, and being here this special weekend, it means even more. But obviously, it feels the same. It feels like I never left. I went into Murphy's office while he was having a meeting with the front office people when I opened the door. And, hey, how you guys doing? And they were just happy. But they were happy. It seems like they were happy to see me, and I was happy to see them too. I feel like even the first year I got here, they welcomed me like I was part of them. Like I came up with the lead with the team, and they embraced me since day one. They gave me love since day one, and they never stopped doing it. Even when I had a bad year in 23, they still loved me. They still gave me love and still supported me.
And we're just less than a week away from the Badgers kicking off their 2025 season, and Eric Franke and Andrew Banstra will get you ready for it. We're hosting the Wisconsin Game Day live from the UW Fieldhouse at 6:30 next Thursday, getting you ready for Game Day against Miami of Ohio. And of course, breaking down all the X's and O's. That's it for sports. A final check of your first one forecast is coming up when we return. Now, there's no need to waffle over what to eat when you can just have a waffle. Sunday marks National Waffle Day because it was August 24th, way back in 1869, that the first waffle iron was patented. But the breakfast treat was around for 100 years before that. The first known recipe dates back to the 14th century. An anonymous husband in France wrote it out for his wife. In those days, waffle batter included wine. To make a waffle, all you needed is leavened batter or dough and two pattern plates to cook it. Or you could hit up your favorite brunch spot, maybe add some fried chicken, and you can find deals at Waffle House and as well as Eggo frozen waffles. Now, one of the things that I've always been kind of confused is when you go to a restaurant, even though the batter's the same between pancakes and waffles, waffles always cost more. So like you order a waffle, it'll be like $10, but then like a stack of pancakes will be like $5. I've just never understood that.
I don't really know either. Is like a waffle and a pancake like a slug and a snail, where it's like they're kind of closely related, but okay.
But you just make it differently.
Yeah. I really like the Kodak, the Kodak protein waffles. Ooh, now I want some waffles. But I don't like to lather pancakes or waffles in syrup. Like I like to dip. The people who put it all over, we got to have a little conversation.
That's me.
Jalen.
That's me.
We got to have a conversation. 60s tomorrow, a perfect day to be outdoors, and 60s Monday and Tuesday. We may see some rain Thursday of next week.
All right, sounds good. Seinfeld is up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow.